Cool. CJ, thanks for coming in, man.
Gabe, thanks for having me.
Yeah, buddy. Wow, one day painting. So we've known each other for 3 or 4 years now, done some work together. For our audience, I always like to start with tell us how you got here, because it's so interesting. Every home service company we've talked to has such a different past, and it's just fascinating to see how they ended up in the industry that they're in. So you want to give some background on you and how you got to your business?
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me out today. I started this business in October 2020.
Nice. It was a good year.
Yeah,
Not much going on that year.
there was a couple world events that are happening, but
Yeah.
it's peak COVID. I came from the medical device industry, so I'm used to going to hospitals all over the country and helping support various surgeries that happen. And so this is obviously completely different, but between the world events of COVID and then just kind of my own personal desire to build something for myself, I saw a huge opportunity in home services, and obviously there's a lot in the middle, but made that transition and have been loving it ever since.
That's awesome, dude. So when you were medical device, were you in sales?
No, more on the operations and corporate side. So we'd help companies establish a footprint in the U.S. and get them set up from everything they need, from a building to inventory management, customer service, all those types of things.
So, all right, so you came from that. What was the decision to go painting? So you said home services looked great. Was there a single decision? Was like, all right, the painting industry, or was it more of like the brand of WOW and the support behind it, or how did that look?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Wow One Day Painting has a great support team. They're part of 1-800-GOT-JUNK and Shack
O2E,
Shine.
right?
Yeah, O2E. So big network. They know franchising. They know home services, and so it was a great fit there. I think that paired with the opportunity for painting. It's not a standardized industry. There's not a huge amount of licensing in the United States for painting.
Nice.
So I think the bar is really low for what customers expect. So when we can come in with exceptional service, exceptional quality, we really stand to set ourselves apart in the marketplace.
Very nice. We were talking about that the other day. It's like, part of our goal with like these conversations is I want to change the stigma around home service professionals and home service businesses, right? It's like these businesses are ran by extremely professional and extremely intelligent and successful folks and people who are coming from successful careers. And they just got fed up with it, and they go, okay, if I can apply the same thing I was doing over here in this industry, I can make a huge change, a huge impact.
100%. It's one of those non-sexy businesses, but it doesn't matter to me what it is. It's a need that people have and will spend money for, and it provides a great opportunity for us to provide employment for great people that want a good place to work. And I think I find a lot of personal meaning in that.
That's awesome, dude. And if anybody's ever painted, see that around that outlet?
Yeah.
I painted these rooms.
Yeah, so you should have hired us.
I know, dude. It's not fun, and there is certainly a skill to it.
Yes.
You can tell when somebody has had something done professionally or not.
Correct.
So what's you guys' big differentiator? I mean, it's obviously kind of in the name, but I think a lot of people don't believe that. So how do you guys do it? What's y'all's differentiator?
Yeah, no, I don't have any magical tools or anything like that. We just have manpower and a really clear plan. If one painter can paint one room in a day, why can't 10 painters paint 10 rooms in a day?
Nice.
So it's a lot of divide and conquer, really clear plan, really good expectations with the customer. And our ultimate goal is, speed of getting something done quickly with large teams and a clear plan, and just quality by quality and control inspection, using great products and making sure that we're as least disruptive to our customer at the end of the day.
Very nice. And there's something that stood out for me when I heard about a customer of you guys is you guys used to at least leave flowers or for your customers like that. I just remember a customer saying like, and then they got done, it was in one day, and then there was just this bouquet of flowers sitting there.
Yeah, so we like to create a little bit of magic throughout the entire experience, and I call it our Apple moment of one more thing.
Nice.
The customer's not expecting that, so we not only delivered and hopefully exceeded their expectations, and we're like, but wait, there's more, because we just want to delight our customer at every step of the journey, and that's like the icing on the cake. And we believe that helps one, show appreciation, but that's what gets customers telling us to their friends, neighbors, relatives, whoever will listen. Help us build a customer base in the natural area.
How do you, thinking about the future business owner, right? The guy who's currently in medical sales right now or medical devices, who's like, man, I want to go do something else. I want to go do something for myself. when you first start, it's really hard to have that mindset, right? Where you're like, I'm going to spend more money. I'm going to do these things over and over and over again, like leaving a bouquet of flowers or whatever it might be. And even if I don't see the immediate results in the first year, stick to it, keep doing it, have the consistency. How did you make that decision to be like, I know this is the direction we need to go in, spending this extra money and losing it on some margins is kind of worth it for me right now? Was that a deliberate decision? Was that, advice from a mentor, or was that just you have this kind of ability to kind of think more in line with brand recognition and getting repeat referral business? What was that thought process like?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of all those things. One, we want to attract really high quality customers, and no matter what business you're in, the way you attract high quality customers is getting from referrals from customers that you love. If you're the contractor that's constantly discounting and cheapening your own self by reducing your prices or using inferior products, you're going to attract a customer that wants that, and you're going to be constantly just being beat up every day. Versus the customers we try to attract understand the value that we offer, the quality, the white glove service contracting that we offer. They value and appreciate that, and they're going to refer us to other people that appreciate that. So we're able to make our margins. They're absolutely thrilled with the value they got from our services, and that also allows us to take care of our team, and we will keep our team for years to come because we're an attractive employer in the market. So.
Awesome. So let's dig into your team. What does your team look like when customers interact with you guys? How does that look? And then we can kind of get into like how you've retained team, because I know a lot of great people. So I'm sure future business owners are interested in that as well.
Yes, absolutely. One is all of our employees have to pass we call the beer and barbecue test. We want people to be people
Nice.
we like being around. When you build a great team that likes being around each other every day and loves what they do for our customers, they can accomplish incredible things. So that's like the first differentiator, as far as we try to build a really positive team culture, a culture that loves the craftsmanship of what we do. And then I think the other thing we do really well is we provide a growth path. Painters on our team have paths to go from painter to crew lead to a salesperson type role, all the way to business owners themselves. That's our hidden secret right now is we've actually are launching a guy that started with us as a painter, and he's opening up a franchise in Birmingham, Alabama. In the process of it, and for me, is one of the most exciting ththings I've done since I've started this job.
I love that, man. That's kind of like a dream outcome for you as the business owner.
100%.
It's like you saw the greatness in this guy, treated him well. He liked the company, he liked the brand, and was like, I want to put my savings into this and make sure I can do this for other people.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
It'll just create this flywheel momentum that'll hopefully be not only the painter of choice in Nashville, but the entire Southeast and beyond. So.
Nice, dude. So from the entrepreneur side, business owner side, how do you get through the hard days? Because most of the time, there's more of those than not,
Sure.
right? There's more hard days, and the way I describe it is like there's actually more hard hours.
Yeah.
Than because it just goes like this during the day. Right, in a 24-hour period, you can get the best news, and then the business world has a way of kind of knocking you down a little bit. So, like, how did you deal with that in the early days, and then how have you seen yourself change in that? Just looking at the future entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think one, you have to have a certain kind of grit and a certain kind of don't quit mentality. And just keep going. Some of the best entrepreneurs aren't the smartest people that I know.
Yeah.
They just have the most grit and tenacity. And I think they surround themselves with people that encourage them, help them, support them. So, I think that's the hard hours or the hard days. It's having a buddy you can call to encourage you, and you can be that for them. Having a support system, having mentors, having people you can trust, and then, you either have it or you don't, just that inner grit to just not quit. And you don't have to be the smartest. You just don't give up.
Dude, that is exactly right. It's like Alex Hormozy says, I cannot quit, or I cannot fail if I do not quit.
Yeah.
It's just like, just keep going. It's the visual of the guy digging for gold, and it's like right here, and he gives up right before it. On the flip side of that, it is important to know when you got a dud on your hands, and not just a business, but within business. it's important to know like this route we're going is not working. Whether that's marketing, advertising, an employee, a job, a customer, whatever it is, it's like it's also important to be able to go, this is probably, we tried this, it's not working, we got to go in a different direction. Have you guys ever done something like that where you introduced a service and you're like, this is actually out of our wheelhouse, or something like that?
Yeah, whether it be a a new service or a strategy, I have a personal fail fast mentality of go hard and fail fast.
Yeah.
Probably leaning on what little I know about like agile development and things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, oh, that cost us, but no, we figured out all these things and we can apply those to the next thing. So I'm not afraid of taking some risks and taking things on. I'm trying to do things that no one else has done before, even within the Wow One Day painting system, as far as growth and what we want to build. So
Nice.
it doesn't bother me whatsoever to fail at something. We just keep on going, adjust, and get better each time for it.
What are your goals? You mentioned you kind of got some aspirations with WoW and with your business. What does that look like? What does 5 years look like?
Yeah, well, I actually just through 2027 is my goal is to own 5 Wow One Day painting locations. Be doing $2.5 to $3 million here in Nashville, and have those other locations averaging 750, 800,000 or so.
Very nice.
That'll build us a nice pool of companies that we can help support and enable to grow themselves into that next 1.52 million dollar range. So
very cool. So in the building of this business, what was one of the most important kind of systems, or maybe it's a piece of technology, or maybe it's a process? What was one of the ones that stands out that you implemented either early on or recently that has kind of changed a lot for you guys, made a positive impact?
Yeah, I think just having a system that helps us collaborate and keep an eye on, knowing our numbers really well,
Right.
knowing where our customers are coming from, knowing those things. So I come from a large data background in the medical device side. That's what a lot of what I did is, forecast out, what are we going to need in this market or things like that. So I've tried to apply some of that knowledge just to help figure out the resources and things we need, where we know where you're winning, know where we're losing, so we can continue to pedal in the right direction and tear off anything. Don't be afraid to quit things on Tuesdays is a motto of mine.
Yeah.
Quit something that's not working. If you don't see it, bringing value to the team, get rid of it.
Nice. So you mentioned in there where your business comes from. You talk through some of your lead sources, some of this, like break down where the business is coming from. I think that's especially for future business owners, that's one of the scary parts, right? You're like, well, I need business. Where do I go? What do you do?
Right. No, I think it's one, having, whether you come from a franchise or an independent, have really great branding and brand awareness. So whatever that looks like for us, that's wrapped vehicles, uniformed employees, lawn signs in front of the yard for every job. We really try to make our presence known on and around the job site. 60% of our revenue year to date is all repeat referral business, whether it be through other trade partners, customers hiring us again or referring us to their friends and neighbors.
Nice.
The best marketing you can honestly do is just a job well done. Mm-hmm. Get that Google review, and you're going to stand out from your competition.
Nice. How many Google reviews you guys have?
192.
Nice. How many of those are 5-star?
Majority of them, we're at a 4.9.
Nice.
It was a 5.0 for the longest time.
Yep.
But the reality is that you try to make the overwhelming majority happy.
Dude, 4.9 is basically a 5. If you have that many, you're gonna have customers that you can't make everybody happy.
Correct.
Even if you do a perfect job, there's things that somebody's gonna find something at some point.
Correct. It does bother me. I try not to, but you're right. Some people are just gonna be upset regardless of how good you.
That's right. Yeah, some people suck, dude. Some people suck. Just the truth. So, any advice that you'd give to the future business owner? And then I want to dig in a little bit to like O2E and WOW as a brand. But any advice like to yourself 5 years ago? Somebody sitting in that seat right there.
Yeah, I think one, don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to quit. I kind of wish I'd done this a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the freedom, and I love building something, and you're really building an asset in addition to the profits that you make in the business. So,
Yep.
do it sooner. Don't don't give up. The bad days will pass.
Mm-hmm.
There's good days ahead. And I think to anybody that's looking to do it, don't be afraid to be curious.
Right.
Phone calls are free. And you'd be surprised how easy and how many people around you want to see you be successful and take that leap. So
That's huge, dude. We talked about that with I think it was Brandon from he owns Made in
okay,
Made in Nashville. They're a cleaning company.
okay,
Super cool name, like MAID in Nashville.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's like so clever. I loved it. And he was talking about similar things, which is he hired a coach like a year ago, and he's 5 years into business. So he's like I think 1 year past you, but 5 years into business, hired a coach a year ago. And he says it's made a tremendous difference, right? So to your point, it's like reach out. People want to help. You don't have to try to solve these problems that have been solved 1,000 times by other people,
Right.
that you're likely to not solve correctly. That was a hard lesson for me. I think it was my ego got involved. And I was like, I know how to do this. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And luckily I was close enough where it didn't kill the business. But still, I could have avoided so many headaches and troubles if I would have done that. So a lot of people don't know about the brands that own the brands, right?
Sure.
So I'm surprised at how many people don't know about Neighborly and Authority and Horsepower and all those things. So talk about O2E and WOW and 1-800 and Shine Shack?
Shack Shine.
Shack Shine. What's the support been like there for you? How does that look in your day-to-day, all those things?
Yeah, no, it's been an incredible journey, just not only to help the business collectively, what we're able to accomplish, but I think there's a certain value in a community that we're all trying to pull the same direction.
Right.
So yeah, they what type of support they offer that caused me to go with them. You mentioned a business coach and how valuable it is. If you've ever looked into hiring a one-off business coach, it's very expensive to have good coaching. You're going to get a return on that. One thing that's great about the franchise system like O2E is I get one of those as a part of the agreement. So whatever that's worth, and early on in the business it's worth a lot, that's included as part of the agreement with them, including coming out on site, helping you diagnose problems with the business. We just had a group of my peers. We have a forum group, and they visited, like 5 or 6 of them, visited Nashville, looked under the hood of the business, and gave me like a whole 3
cool.
pages of things to work on.
And that's organized by WOW?
That's organized by WOW.
Oh, that's neat, dude.
So you get the business coach, you get the community, you get best practices, of course buying power with our vendors. There's a lot of advantages. You look on painters, Facebook groups and things like that, and maybe they're expert painters, but they always have the same questions. Well, how do I price this? How do I make money? How do I get leads? Working with the franchise system in particular helps you solve a lot of those problems.
Very nice, dude. Let's talk about challenges in hiring, because I know labor is significantly it's always been hard.
Sure.
I think it's gotten a little worse as of recently. You guys have seemed to kind of figure that out. Any thoughts on it? How do you guys do it? What are you guys doing differently?
Yeah, I can't say that we've figured it out. We've made good strides.
Yeah.
I think I treat our recruiting funnel just like I do our sales funnel. You have to have good people coming into the business, especially with what we do. Ultimately, we're selling the labor to apply the paint, by and large. So one, it's have a really good idea of what your ideal teammate looks like. I hired 5 people in this last round of hiring, and we had 80 applicants. I did about 40 interviews. We hired 5, and we currently only have, I think, 3 people left on that.
Nice.
And that's pretty normal,
Yeah.
but we have to have that kind of thorough of a process, because we want to find A players, and when you find A players only want to work with A players. So we really protect that. That's a huge limiting factor on how much we could grow. But it's not something I'm willing to compromise on to find the right dynamic, find the right people, and then just treat them really well. Competitive pay, align with what their personal goals are in life, and make sure they understand how they can align with the goals of their business, and everybody wins.
Yeah, man. Reminds me of somebody told me slow to hire, quick to fire.
Yes.
So like that's kind of the process you guys are taking. Is I've never heard like A players want to work with A players. That's obvious, but it's like I've never heard it put like that.
Yeah.
And protecting your employees, your A players, because that's all you've hired, with the future hires is crucial. You get one bad egg in there, it's like a cancer.
It will spread. It defeats people.
Customers feel it.
And customers feel it. It's amazing, and they feel it both ways. You're like, when you get a team that's like dynamic, can solve problems, and loves what they do. I mean, people just rave about it, and it's the complete opposite effect if you've got one bad apple in that team, spoiling the rest.
Yep, dude, that's so important. We had a guy on our baseball team growing up that we used to laugh because he was just like, he was kind of the cancer, you know. Just his mood is how the team went, and it's very similar especially if you got a crew of 10 people on a job. You got one guy who's not pulling his weight, and you guys have this promise that we're going to get it done. You know, maybe not in one day, but if we're painting an entire 4,000 square foot house, it might take 2 days, right? But if that's the promise, and we're relying on you to do your room, and you're the reason why we don't get the room done, we're all screwed. You know, it's making us look bad. So I think in y'all's case, it's even more important, right?
It's 100%, and it's obvious who is or isn't pulling our weight because we have a clear plan of who needs to be doing what.
Nice. That makes it easy on y'all as managers to be like, this is clearly we got either a bad egg or maybe we need to train him or whatever it is. It's an easy to point to be like, this room was not done or this portion of the plan was not done correctly or in time. He was in charge of it. Boom.
Right. Well, then you have two sides of any team member, right? You have their values, and then you have their skill. And that values, I can't really teach somebody values very effectively.
Right.
If they can come in with the right value set, I can teach them the skill.
Right.
I don't mind investing in somebody because I can up their skill. And that's meaningful for me. You talked about employee growth plans all the way from painter to business owner. That's exciting. I can help them with that. So if they have the right values, if they're humble, hungry, relationally smart, I can work with that and provide them great opportunities that are going to change their family tree, hopefully.
Yep, and you can teach them the skills that you need, but you can't teach somebody, to not steal.
Yeah.
Or to understand that that's bad.
Yeah. Show up on time. You know, be coachable.
Wear the right thing.
These are all basic kind of life skills. If you can walk into our doors with that, boy, do we have some growth opportunities for you.
Right, dude. It's like when I was in the Army, it was show up on time. At the right place in the right uniform, just like similar to exactly what we're talking about here. Is like show up on time, be at the job site, right job site, and be wearing the Wow One Day shirt or whatever the uniform or whatever whatever it is. The bar's kind of low, but that's really hard to find people that want to do that, especially nowadays.
It is.
What's a stigma in the painting industry that you guys have had to overcome as a painting company with a great reputation?
Yeah, I think people expect the worst, even after going through our sales consultation process. You've got a nice, friendly face, somebody that's well-spoken, somebody that understands painting, and then they kind of expect the worst. But then we show up with the crew, and there's this immediate, defusing when they see, these young, and most of the crew are in their mid to late 20s. They love what they do. They're having fun with each other. They work with each other day in and day out. And they're just so surprised. So once they see that, everyone's but there's everyone's kind of tensions are diffused. Are you gonna rip me off or things like that? Are they gonna be drunk on site?
Yeah.
That's the standard.
Right.
And so when they see us actually deliver, oh no, we really have a crew of people that love what they do, love transforming your home. It's completely game changer. But that's the stigma we fight against.
Right. And I don't want to over glaze over that because that's very purposeful, and it's a reflection of what you've done in your company, right? It's not easy to convince people to do hard work and be happy about it. That's a culture thing. That's a company thing. That's how they're treated by their management, by their company. It's for us in restoration was, it's really hard to say crawl into this crawl space for 8 hours. For the next 3 days. Right? Or, clean up mold. It's just not fun.
No.
And we, our prices were set by insurance companies, so we couldn't really afford to pay anybody over a certain amount.
Right. And
that certain amount, they could go work at Starbucks if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So you're like, how do I convince the 22, 3, 4, 5-year-old to crawl into this crawl space for 8 hours, by paying him the absolute most I can, but it's still not enough, and have him be happy to be there, show up on time, be in the right uniform, and when he interacts with the customer, interacts in a positive way for the brand. So what's the main, I mean, you said treating employees correctly. Is it pay? Is it time off? Is it leniency? Is it, what's it been for you guys that you think has been the game changer there?
Yeah, I wish there was one magic bullet. There never is.
Right.
I think the right mix of things. I'd love to say that these are all my original ideas. I just steal them from people that are good at it.
Well, that's what we talked about earlier, dude. Why try and reinvent the wheel?
Right.
Like, hey, what did you do? You've been successful. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think, when one, as a painter in Nashville, if we can offer competitive pay, I don't pay, ridiculously over anybody else, because again, there's just a certain margin available based on the market demand. But I think one is just truly care about your team. I talk to other business owners and people I know. The way they talk about their team. I had at a WOW conference I was at. They had a speaker come up and said, when you're talking about your team members, you have to pass it through the filter. Does it honor? Does it serve? And it's really easy to get mad at that employee that did something stupid on the job site. But in your speech, then, does it honor? Does it serve them as an individual? I think that, just how you present yourself, how you show up for your team, how you truly care about them, and not only what they can do for your customer, what they can do for your business, but what can you do for them? How can you serve them? How can you help them grow in their career? Just having that mindset towards that is that I'm actually there to serve them.
Yep.
Completely different culture that's facilitated. And I've done the wrong side of both of those
Yeah,
things.
dude, that's what I was about to ask is, how long did it take you to learn that? Or did you experience that when you worked for somebody and felt that and said, all right, from the beginning, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I think I was hypersensitive to it. I worked in a very competitive industry that 5 people are there ready to take your spot.
Right.
Especially out in the field, heart attacks are rampant at 45 years old for a reason, because of the amount of stress. So I think I walked into this going, okay, part of my value set coming into this is I want to create the company and the culture that I always deserve to work for. It's at that point for me, it's not about how much money we make or how much paint we put on the wall any day. It's about, do I find meaning in what I'm doing? And for me, that drives a lot of meaning.
Yeah, that's great, dude. That's similar to kind of my story when the Army is great for certain people,
Sure.
right? It was good for the time I did it, but it was like I wanted to start a company to build an environment that hopefully people like to be around.
Correct.
I found it really, really, really tough to do that at first because there was so many other stressors pulling at me and so many other concerns that at the beginning that took a back burner, right? It was like, we got to make this, we have to do this, I have to pay this, I have to do this. And it was like culture.
Yeah.
I didn't care about it, right?
Yeah.
And that was a downfall. It was like, I expected people just to be in.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't happen. That is a very, very hard task to achieve. And it has to almost be the forefront of every decision you make.
It does. You have to create that buy-in. You don't just, it's not given, it's
Right.
earned. And I think you have to create, a safe enough environment where people can be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
How many times have we looked at somebody and given very clear, direct instructions and, yes, sir, no problem. Then you walk away and they do something completely
The opposite.
So,
Yeah.
it's it's a leadership lesson that I'm still learning to this day, and but that's I have fun trying to figure those things out and build my own leadership skill.
Oh, awesome. Well, dude, I just want to say, A, thanks for coming in. B, I've always we've grown our businesses right alongside each other, and it's been awesome watching you guys grow and scale and seeing people talk about you and seeing employees and everything you're saying I've seen in practice, so I can absolutely back it up. And I respect the hell out of what you're doing, man. And we hope to have good folks like you on the MyHome platform, man.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for coming in, dude.
Yep.